One of the things that we want to do, of course, is find that network range. The network range gives me a target location that I want to start scanning or looking for your different targets on. One of the things I can do is go to Erin and be able to look up all of the numbers, all the IP addresses that have been given out, and find out what's out there, what's been allocated to your service provider, what's been allocated to you. Erin is like the whois output. You saw that I went through Sam Spade in our previous example, and it gave me the same information as I can get from any other whois, regardless of where I get the information. Another tool that we looked at was traceroute. Now traceroute, I want to make sure we understand how that works. Traceroute is simply sending a series of packets to a single destination where I'm increasing the time to live of those packets. The idea is, for every router I cross, my time to live is decremented by 1 hop count. So if I send a packet with a hop count of just 1, hits that first router, the router changes it to 0, and once you hit 0, it can't forward it anymore. So that router sends back a message to you saying that, I couldn't finish the delivery of your packet, its time expired. When it did that, that router gave me its information about who it is, where it is, and I sent the next packet with a hop count of 2, time to live of 2. It got through the first router, got to the next one in the path, and it returns, I can't finish delivery. So we do that all the way up to the destination. That's how we get that trace route and get to see all of the information about where I am and what path I took to get there. So we can use tools like NeoTrace, now called Visual Trace, to do the same thing as we did before. See, I could have done a trace route at the command line, but we got a lot of names back of routers, of locations that were cryptic and not easy to read. And so these tools are at least going to try to give you a physical geographical location and a proximity and the name of that device as best as it can translate it for us. Visual Route Trace is just another tool that can do the same thing for us. And there are tons of tools that we can use. The Smart Whois, any of the tools that can do a trace route can build us this information. So now that I've got a lot of information about where your company is located, about some of the targets that I have, the paths that I use to get there, addresses, contact name information, phone numbers, everything I need to be able to start staging an attack. What else should I assume about my network and potential targets? Is there anything more you could find out? Well, we've only talked about the company information, but how about if I start going through your company and start trying to get information about the employees and where they are at home when they're making connections, or where they are inside their company, trying to get ideas of what services and email clients that they're using, mail servers, because they all have specific vulnerabilities. One of the things that we might do is use something like Mail Tracker. Mail Tracker is a trace route for an email location. If I send you an email and you reply to me, I can take the headers out of your email, feed it into Mail Tracker, and find out where you were, or at least the mail server was, when you sent me that information. Likewise, though, you could verify an email coming to you with the same information. A lot of people will spoof who they are, basically falsifying their information when they send you emails. Some of you may have seen getting what we call spam, by getting an email that's addressed to you that appears to have come from you. And you know they didn't do that, but your question is, what did they do? How did they do that? Well, you can take those headers and find out where it really came from, and that doesn't mean it came from them at a specific spot. It just means that's where they were when they sent it. Remember, there are a lot of companies who have their email servers open for attack, and hackers like to just borrow those email servers and send 5,000 or 10,000 emails to their closest friends. So you can't verify that that's exactly who sent you the mail, but at least you know it didn't come from you. Other parts of this, the email tracker, though, is that it gives me an idea of where a person is when they reply to my email. Likewise, when I get that information, it just gives me paths. It's just giving me more information. But beyond that, there are also tracking programs where I can send an email to somebody. They can open their email from home, from work, wherever they are, and information will be sent back to me whether they reply to the email or not, about where they were and when it was that they opened it. Now that's important to me because there are a lot of people that check their email while on the road, while checking it at home. If I can get that information of where they are at home, then I know geographically about where they are. I know their public IP address that they use from their service provider. I even know who the service provider is. It just gives me one more place in your company to attack. That home user that's not as protected, and I can go from there, whether it's to attack it from a technological standpoint, sending it packets, or if it's just actually physically breaking into their home, planting software on their spy software, and leaving again. So it's important that you should know what can the enemy see.